Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Is this the day we've been waiting for? Woo! So, I'm Deb Donahue, and I work for Washington County. And I grew up in suburbs of Shushan on the other side of that hill.
Jackson.
Yes. So I'm pretty familiar with the 3 bridges that have been here. Can y'all hear me? Louder? Okay. So I'm pretty familiar with all the bridges that have been here, and I learned a lot of lessons from each one of them. I learned that the covered bridge we need to preserve for our future.
Yep.
I also learned from the steel deck bridge that I'm afraid of heights. You notice that this one is not see-through. I also learned to drive on this bridge, and Dad, don't listen to this story, but I was a little squirrely when it was wet, and you're going too fast over it. And then I learned from the new bridge that it connects communities. And as Jack Skelly said, we've now opened Shushan back up to civilization. So I wanted to give you a little history of the bridges. I'm so nervous. So as you can see from the sign on the Shushan covered bridge, it was built in 1858 by Stevens Brothers. The steel deck bridge was built in 1963, and it was built by C.D. Perry and Sons from Troy. It was a pin and hanger bridge, and that caused a lot of problems with repairs, as you may or may not know. That's kind of why this got replaced. The cost of that bridge to build in 1963 was $164,227. So that was in 1963, and when they did that, they just kind of moved the covered bridge over a little bit, and it just kind of sat there for a while, from what I understand. And then in 1974, that was when the Shushan Covered Bridge Association took it over and rehabbed that. And I'm sure all of you have been through that, but if you haven't, take your friends and family through it, because it's a really great tribute to the history of around here. So this bridge was a federal aid project. So that means that 80% of the funds were paid from federal dollars, 15% were paid from state dollars, and 5% was a local share. So the cost for the total cost, including design, which is different from the back of your sheet. I only compared construction costs. But the total cost for this bridge was $3,339,744. So, I'd like to thank the supervisors for the support of this, building this bridge. Sue Clary from the town of Salem, and Jay Skelly from the town of Jackson. And I can't forget Brian, who let me use his electric truck here so we'd have something to plug in. He kind of, he compares it to the Model T opening the covered bridge, which isn't really true, but, you know, the electric is the wave of the future here, so I didn't say that. Did I say that? I'd like to thank Aaron Frankenfeld and Jack Mance of the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council, because without them we wouldn't have got the funding for the bridge. Chris Seachek, who designed the bridge, he's here somewhere. Chris Seachek, he did the design of this beautiful bridge. Thank you, Chris. Dustin Wynn and Russ and his construction crew, who constructed this entire bridge with just about 4 people most of the time. I think they're hiding in the back there. Raise your hand, Russ. Thank you, guys. Woo! You did a great job. Brian and Willie of GPI and everybody else from GPI who made sure that it was a smooth process. I'd like to thank the engineers from our office, especially Mike Briel, who kept it all on track. Our public safety team for helping me set up today. Thanks, Tim. And the people of Washington County and the magnificent towns in this county for your patience, understanding, curiosity, and passionate love for this bridge. It was just so fun watching all the interest in the building of this bridge. So it's very much appreciated. Now, let's see what's on the next page. My hands are frozen. Oh, next is Sue Cleary and Jay Skelly saying a few words. Come on up. Oh, I think it's a collaborative thing. Oh, you want to be up here with me?
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank everyone here that you're here today.
Hold it up to your mouth.
Hold up your mouth, speak up.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. Thanks everyone for being here. I look back over the last 5 years and think of the day that we sat in the Shushan Fire Department. Tom Cassidy remembers that, and all the local Shushan Fire Department. We had a public hearing and talking about what this bridge was going to be. And we've come a long ways, guys. You know, it's really, really a terrific opportunity for us to go back to USHACs from Jackson side, come from Lake Lauderdale to Shushan, and it's open. I look at the Nolan family and how they were split between Jackson and Salem. They did it. They were patient. Denny was patient. Denny is here somewhere. I know he is because he's got a burlap bag. And if he could come forward, I'd really appreciate it. Okay? I don't see him. I'm going to give this over to Jay because Jay can introduce somebody we all know well.
Do you see that drone? Is it the county drone?
Yeah, I also want to thank everybody for their patience, especially the Shushan people and the Jackson people that, you know, go across this bridge daily. I had a lot of residents tell me that with this bridge out, it added 10 to 12 miles a day to their commute. You know, that's a half a gallon of gas at $5 a gallon. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. Back here a year or so ago, we had this red flagged and shut down. The same day, we ended up shutting down the Batten Kill bridge, and the other bridge over here was getting worked on, and basically the upper end of Jackson was an island other than Route 22. And Deb says, you know, that bridge was built in '63 and it's worn out. And I'm thinking, geez, I was born in '61. What are you telling me, Deb? But we appreciate everybody's patience. The construction guys, great. I came by here several nights at 6:37 and they were still working. We appreciate the effort that they put in there. As a longtime resident of Shushan, you all know Georgie Foster says if you ever want to find your way to paradise, you got to go over 61 and cross the Shushan Bridge. Well, lately, for the last half a year, you know, it's been a long ways to paradise, so now we're back to the shortcut again. So,
I want to say one thing.
Yep.
I had said that Butch Gilchrist would come up and tell us a few things about who's here and how we have our youngest and our oldest. So Butch, want to join us, please? I mean, Butch is the same thing. He remembers the other bridge and this bridge. There's a lot of history here.
Thank you, sir.
Sure, welcome.
Thanks everybody for showing up. And I was talking with Debbie the other day, trying to figure out if there were people in Shushan that remembered driving through the covered bridge. And then when the bridge has been the steel bridge, the bridge my folks always called the new bridge, was replaced. And I'm 70 and I vaguely remember coming through the covered bridge and this bridge being built the first time. And there's a few other people here. I think Denny, you probably remember it. Pete Shaw, maybe. Mayor Taft over there, he certainly remembers it. And in the back we have Eleanor Bandel, Eleanor Link Bandel. She certainly would remember lots of stories about the covered bridge. Barbara Gilchrist and Neil Adams. They didn't want to walk out here and get mowed over by the rough crowd. So, and I know there's many others. There's a Don Skelly back there. Well, he might not have been living in Shushan. He probably came through the covered bridge many times. So this is, I guess we live longer than the bridge did. But glad this bridge is open. they said U-Shacks, was kind of hit hard. Well, I realized after the bridge was closed, that the U-Shacks have that kind of after-work crowd every day coming in, usually to buy their beer. And it seems they had took a real hit this summer because a lot of the people that are coming in are coming from the town of Jackson. So that's the bridge, and here's the band. So I'll pass the speaker on. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. So I would chance a guess that not too many bridges have had poems written about them, but this one has had at least 2. And we have the poet here who's going to read his poem for us, and he's from right here in Shushan, and I can't pronounce his last name, but it's Keith Bleeker. Well, they told me what to say. So Keith is going to read his poem for us. Yes.
Well, this is a surprise. I was contacted this week. I've been designing control systems and
Speak right up into it.
been designing control systems and building power systems for 42 years, and one of 2 things has happened. Either my poetry is really good or my electricity is really bad. But I was asked by Deb to read one of my poems. This one actually was finished almost at midnight last night.
Yeah, put it right up.
And it goes kind of like this. What we celebrate today and rejoin ridge to ridge is more than engineering or just a new bridge. It's about giving kindness and finding our way from our homes here in Shushan to your hearts, should you stay. Faith, hope, and charity, all 3 lights you'll see here as this bridge brings you home each day, every year. Now Salem and Jackson together again for travelers and tourists are always new friends. From Arlington to Greenwich, the Batten Kill makes grand our majestic new bridge, bringing peace where she stands. The lily of the valley welcomes everyone to stay, and may you always feel safe when you travel this way.
Beautiful.
And if you want, I'll read. Do you really want me to read the other one? It's got a little humor in it. I don't know if we should read it. Yeah. The other one was titled Thank You, Mr. Bridge, and it was one of my evening rites. And if I can find it on my phone, I'll read it. In regards to the bridge that was here a little while ago, thank you, Mr. Bridge, for all your help and care. Back in 1963, the county built you here. Your big, strong steel brought sweet peace of mind as our beloved covered bridge began retiring time. You've held our babies on their first ride home, then rides to school on the bus route zone. Proud and new at each day light, ambulance calls in the darkest nights. Fire trucks with their flashing lights delivering the water from the tall standpipe. Dozens of teens under falling in love. Now married couples on a stroll up above. The bicycle challenge on your open steel deck. Fun added band-aids from our butts to our neck. Visitors, relatives, friends and pets, broken new cars and rusted old wrecks. Yet the memories are wonderful. We're so proud of you. Thank you from all of us. We will both miss and love you.
Aww, very nice.
Thank you.
All right, now we cut the ribbon. Oh, Jackie bought those scissors.
Not the wrong scissors.
Oh my gosh.
Remember, Denny's got something to show us.
Can you put the
Denny?
way up in the air so that somebody, they want to
That's all to say. Tell your teacher.
Denny's got a bottle of champagne he'd like to christen the bridge with.
Okay, kids, everybody come back, because Denny's got stuff to do.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone back to paradise, okay? Because Shushan is paradise, and all you people in Jackson have been in purgatory for the last 6 months. So in honor of that, I'd like to christen this bridge with a bottle of champagne, and hopefully I can break it on the first time. All right? There we go.